Hello everybody, this is Costu1 coming at you with another video. This time it is my Six Flags Great America Trip 1 Opening Day 2014 May 3rd wrap up. So let's get into it. Yes, opening day is here. I was looking forward to this all season long, or all off season long, and it's finally came. My grandpa picked me up at about 7:30 a.m. and we were on the road by 7:45. We would arrive at the park at about 8:30 a.m. and we just sat outside the um the property until they opened up the property for us to get in line for the parking. So in the meantime, we decided to play some Go Fish, which actually turned out pretty well. He cheated, but anyways, um, then we would go ahead and get into the parking, or get in line for parking at about 9 o'clock. Sat in that line for another half hour. A little bit of um, honking went on, a little honk war between some idiots. We arrived early this year, reasoning being that last year we were in the big parking fiasco where everyone was, or there were a lot of cars just like confused it, and it took longer to get into the parking lot than it did to get into the park itself. So as a result, we would then be there until 9:30 when they would finally let us in. We were the third people in our line, and we noticed that the parking for just one day has gone up from $22 last season to $25. So that really tells you how much Six Flags is wanting to make their money. Okay, moving on. We finally went up to the security scanners where we discovered them stapling a few new signs in front of the ticket scanners into place while we were waiting to get into the security scanners. One thing new they did this year was they put up little fences between each lane for the what's it called, the security scanners, and as a result that allowed for a very much more efficient way into the park. Last year was like their first year doing separating the ticket scanners from the or ticket scanners and security scanners from each other, and there were just a jumbled mess. People were merging into other lines, splitting off into new lines that weren't even open, stuff like that. So it's really good that they've done that this year. So going on to about 9 or to about 10 or 9:45, about 9:45, 9:55, they finally let us through the security scanners. After that, we would wait in another line to get into the park with the ticket scanners, which they finally let us in between about 10:15. Now, the biometric system has seemed to work pretty well, but at the same time, it hasn't been the best. There's been some problems reported. I myself have had one of those problems with the biometrics, not on this specific trip though. So after that, they let us go up to the bridge, the train bridge for the before the park opened. At 10:30, the security would let us all the guests through, so they could head to their favorite ride. For me, my grandpa and I went to X-Flight, where we were concerned because on Six Flags Great America World, they were, or the ride status stated that X-Flight only had one train at the private event the weekend before and Physics Day the Thursday before. And we were worried about that, so we decided to get on X-Flight first, so we didn't have to wait a long line later. We get there and we discover that X-Flight is actually running two trains. This was a good thing for us. As a result, we were able to get on X-Flight, and then we walked around a little bit. We were gonna go on American Eagle, but that was still open. Didn't open till about 11:15, from what I could tell. So we decided to go look at Goliath. We looked a little bit at the Goliath area, which actually looked really interesting, and as you will tell, we spent most of our day there. We decided to get some more views of Goliath, so we went to Camp Cartoon. However, we weren't able to get some photos close up without going on one of the rides. So we rode Spacely Sprocket Rocket twice to get some good shots of the ride. Of course, we got shots from the station. We didn't take any shots off the ride, just to make sure we weren't violating any rules. We would go back past American Eagle, which still wasn't open, at about 11:05. So we decided to hit up Demon, which was running one train at the time, but would go on to operate 2 trains later in the day. Following Demon, we would then go over to Skytrack Tower, which ended up being closed for the rest of the day due to high winds, and they just lifted it up right when we got there. At noon, we met up for a coaster enthusiast meetup. It was something I decided to handle. I was just looking through it, anything that was going on. We had Scott, Kane, Kale, Skylar, and Lisa. And Kane and Scott split off and decided to look at Goliath construction, while Kale, Skylar, Lisa, and I went on the giant truck. Following that, we would go back to look at Goliath's construction, and then hit up Whirligig shortly after, because that was one of the lines that were short. At about 2 o'clock, we split up, and I went with my grandpa again. We hit up Condor, and then went to go see Screams and Dreams Volume 1, since it was really busy around the park. We would then walk around after the show and ride Whirligig one more time. I was an idiot and rode Yankee Clipper following that. And between all of this, I met up with many different people, names mentioned in my trip conclusion. We rode Condor again, and then we rode the Columbia Carousel before we would meet up with Lisa and Skylar again to finish our night on X-Flight Right. So overall, this was a great opening day, and I was glad that I was able to do what I did on the trip. There was also a Six Flags Great America Zone who was hiding pins throughout the park, carousel pins, and whoever found them, and it was just a really cool thing that kept us entertained despite the long lines, as well as Goliath being constructed, and Rocky Mountain and the Six Flags construction team working on the ride while we were there. So that's pretty much it for this trip. Thank you guys for watching. It was really great, I really appreciate it. Please continue watching my videos. Trip 2 shall be up within the next couple of days. The videos and the trip report. Something I'm going to change this year is my trip reports will be in video form, so they will not be in typewritten form, to leave you guys a little time to do stuff. I will also be adding a picture slideshow for all of the pictures that I took from the trip. So that will be up before I do trip 2. All in all, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it, and see you guys in my next video. This has been Costu1 with the Six Flags Great America. Saturday, May 3rd, opening day 2014 trip report.